Good evening, dear colleagues. Then, as always, from St. Petersburg and the project ForexTimes. And before we start consideration of the probable movement of trading instruments for the upcoming trading week, a small announcement: in 1 or 2 weeks, there will be 2 new products, namely automatic transaction copying and investment management. So, dear colleagues, pay attention. I will be sure to write about it. I'll write about it. Well, let's go. And before to start today's lecture, right away, a little announcement. No, the fact is that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, has not published the reports for a simple reason. Look at this, please. The report for October 31 is there, but the report for November 7 report is not. And the thing is, it turns out that there's a federal holiday in the US. Holiday is Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a federal holiday on the 11th and was celebrated on Friday on the 10th. That's why there were no reports. There were no reports on Friday. And as you can see on the website of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, on the Commodity Futures Trading Commission website, on November 13th, that is tomorrow. Tomorrow during the day, we will get the reports, and so we'll have a clearer picture of the likely movement of trading instruments. Well, let's go with the euro. So, dear colleagues, there are a couple of options here, but all these 2 options are based only on the fact that with you, the strongest support range in which enters with its premium levels and loss level of market maker. A market maker is a company or organization, a collection of organizations which provide liquidity on the options market. I beg your pardon, on the derivatives market for option contracts. Therefore, I have somehow told you I'm going to show you the range here. We have the range for the next week every day. It changes a little bit, but not much at all. Here we have the levels. The market maker's loss, as long as the price is inside this range, then at the time of expiration of weekly option contracts, the market maker makes a profit. If the price goes outside this range, the market maker protects his money by returning the price inside the range. So at this point in time, it's most likely we're looking at Monday, Tuesday, first half of Wednesday, a decline in the trading into the decision-making range. And from here, if a pattern for buy entry into the market to buy. Why, the point is that this BC, I don't even know how to say it. Let it be. Word, unfortunately, does not fit in any way into momentum, and therefore, if this movement doesn't fit into the momentum, most likely this move can be put into a correction. Look, please, dear colleagues, on monthly option contract, the price is in the strongest range resistance. Again, trading days ago, professionals rewrote their expectations for the strongest support range downwards. The price was rising and the expectations were written down. That is, the professionals are expecting a decline of the trading instrument. And yes, dear colleagues, if you and I take a look, try to look ahead for 2-3 weeks, I assume that we will see such a combination, such a miracle movement. But for now, we are looking at the upcoming trading week, buying from the strongest range, support range, namely 165, 106.35. Gold is about the same thing. Please see the strongest support range here. And the hedges, options T and premiums, HDW options T and the market maker, loss level, and the corrections are like this. So you and I have a probable plane. Why, dear colleagues, I chose this top and not on the next one. That this movement represents is an impulse. And if you and I on the market has an impulse, then the last wave should be an impulse wave, or a finite diagonal, or momentum, or terminal diagonal. Let's look at this wave. The probable last wave, you can see right away that there's no momentum here. There's no impulse because the rules of impulse fourth wave. in no case, if it's an upward impulse, should never overlap the maximum of the first wave. You see a lot of corrective waves that will overlap the high of the first wave. Of the first wave, if it is here, it will overlap the maximum of the first wave. So there is no impulse as such. There is no momentum as such. Disappointed here. For the simple reason that the probable wave number 5, wave of the diagonal, will be bigger than wave number 3. I've done the math and it's true. The 5th wave of the diagonal is bigger than the 3rd wave. And according to the diagonal rules, this should not be. So, dear colleagues, most likely the impulse ended here. And we have U1, 2, 3 zigzag waves, and then 1D, 3, bundle, 2, 3, double, zigzag in wave B. And now you and I have a wave about wave 2. Let's do the math, 3, 4, 5. And, you know, that in a corrective wave, see, there can be 5-wave structure. And let's take a look at this, the outermost wave in the 5-wave structure. Here we have a little bit of it, by the way. Hint from professionals, 409 million stock call contracts of the trading instrument. Now let's take a look at the extreme wave, 1, 2, 3, 4. Missing the 5th wave, we are most likely missing the 5th wave from about entering the market to buy, actually. That's what I was just talking about, dropping into the strongest range of support, or I sometimes call it decision-making range, the formation being pattern ether. It will be a pin bar, or the 5th wave will be formed in the form of a final diagonal, and its entry can be and make a decision about entering to enter the market from the range 50%, 61.0 fino with a pending order on the maximum of the wave number O here. Dear colleagues, a concrete plan for gold. S&P 500 index and index, dear colleagues, BC, that according to these indices, the plan should be considered for sale. As for the S&P 500 index, I affirm, now I'll show you, but you won't see the numbers. But believe me, I is calculated actually. Here, it's on the screen. You see a huge number of numbers. It would seem like this. The option contracts are worth about $12 billion. When I counted these option contracts here, it comes out to more over $100 billion worth of attention. This tells us that professionals are expecting a decline in this trading. And now the index and the S index are only rising for the simple reason that historically, the end of the year and the filing of reports from the companies that make up in these indices, those reports have a positive on the S&P 500 and the pre-Jones index. Jones, but it's a temporary impact because you've just seen where the price of the S500 is expected on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, namely the bottom 100 over $100 billion. Imagine, friends, I mean, you guys took the guys and thought, why do we need 100 mil out of dollars? Let's just throw it away. And threw it away. No, it doesn't work that way. They probably know something, therefore let's believe them. Well, I'll repeat our strategic target, level 31. So the BC that this index is rising, everything should be considered for selling. And please watch me. I'll show you how the strongest resistance levels work and actually support levels. But you can see perfectly well the level is reaching resistance and the premium level comes out. And these are the levels at which futures contracts are likely to open futures contracts to sell. With maximum volumes, the price goes down. Then again, the price goes beyond the level, resistance level, and goes down again, reaches the resistance level again, flees down and reaches the resistance level again. Unfortunately, downward, the professionals rereading there, but it's still flying down, same thing, and the support level. The only thing is that so far the price has reached the level. The price has reached the support level only in these two places. That's how it is. dear colleagues, so let's summarize the euro dollar. We are considering to buy from the strongest range support. But remember, this is most likely a buy literally for a week or two after, which we most likely to see a decline trading instrument. Gold, I apologize, it's pound gold. We're considering a buy for the simple reason, that most likely the momentum ended flat, and from the range, the strongest support range we're looking at buying. The Dow Jones index, SP500 BC index. What is rising and emerging a pattern to sell? I emphasize once again, pattern, to sell. You can enter the market to sell. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Please write to me and ask me questions in private. I will always answer. I will always answer your questions. Come to ForexTimes trading according to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Commodity Trading Commission futures. Plus, we overlay on top of that the wave theory of Ralph Elliott. Come read our forecasts here. In the community, the forecasts according to the data, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and I'm also published some forecasts that are not available on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, dear colleagues, thank you all. Bye-bye.